Hi, this is Cindy, and this is my very first time to ever video myself painting, so this is going to be fun. Okay, so I decided to start with a watercolor because I know it could be intimidating for people, and I haven't really touched my watercolors for at least a couple years, so this is going to be interesting. Um, I am painting a horse because I love horses. I love painting horses, and you can see the pencil sketch. I try to do it as light as possible, and it's going to be a white horse, so I'm starting with the background, and I really have no plan for the background. I'm just being so spontaneous. I have no idea. I kind of have an idea that I want warm colors. I want it to be a fantasy-like painting, and the background to be fiery, not necessarily fire, but like a fiery background for the horse. So I'm just kind of filling in the background and just working carefully around the edges of the horse because it's going to be a white horse, and it's dry. It's dry paper, so I'm working wet on dry with a round brush, and that way it's nice and crisp on the edges of the horse, since I don't have any masking liquid. So I just manage. I don't have a lot of stuff. I just kind of manage to do what I want without the things that I probably would look better if I did have masking fluid. Oh, there's Airy. I'm adding some more pigment. I went kind of bold there. I'll probably start blotting it out before it dries because I do want to work a little bit from light to dark, so I don't regret anything later. Because when it dries, it'll be so much harder to blot it out like that. So we're gonna see how this turns out, because since there's no real plan, it's interesting. It's kind of exciting because you don't really know if you don't have a plan. I mean, sometimes you could plan out exactly what you want, and sometimes I don't really, especially if it's got a fantasy like quality to it. But I just like to see the different colors um, merge together when the paper is wet. I have ochre, I think it's yellow ochre, and some different types of yellow mixed together, and I'll probably add some more red to it. That way I get an orange that you can see both the colors in it, and you can see that the pigment, the pigments of the color are they get drawn to like the dry part, so it makes it darker around that edge. And I push it a little bit with the brush too, and like I can start blotting it towards the outside so that it's a little bit lighter. Okay, so now I am starting on the horse, the inside of the horse, and it is going to be a white horse. Normally, I don't usually go in so dark, but yeah, I just kind of feel like I want to work on the darkest points first, and then I'll start adding water to it, just water on the brush to those dark parts, and spread it out. So basically, what I do is there is the brush is wet. It's saturated with water, and I put pigment on the tip of it, and when I lay the whole brush on the paper, the pigment ends up on a certain place, but the wet part of the brush makes it spread, so you have like a gradation of the color from the brush. So the darkest and heaviest part is at the point of the brush, and then it gets lighter towards the inside of the brush. And then you'll notice after a while, this is just me, and I guess different artists work differently, and I do admire so many different watercolor artists, and I admire their different styles. I have a tendency to work all over the painting at once. I don't take part by part. I guess I just feel like whatever color is in my brush, I just want to make sure it's placed everywhere on the painting, so I don't have pieces of my painting that seem like out of place or just not all integrated together. I just like to have those same colors flowing all over. So I just usually move from like the top to the bottom to the side. I'll be working all over the horse head, and then a little bit on the tail, and a little bit on the legs, and back to the head again, maybe in the eyes. And right now I'm just working on the neck, but I'll be moving on to other places. I'll just depending on the colors I use, and if I feel like I want to go back darker, I'll just go back and darken parts all over the horse. Okay, so yes, I've worked a little bit more detail on the horse, and you can see where the darkest parts are. Just adding a little bit more detail, working the mane is kind of tricky. I don't want it to look too detailed. I don't want to go into like each and every hair, but I just want it to be like flowing. I just want it to maintain that watercolor look. And just a little bit of detail. It's not too detailed. I'm just trying to add these really dark shades. Hopefully the really dark parts of the shine will give it a little bit of a realistic look. And I'm also depending on the color of the paper to for the brightest parts of the horse. Okay, I'm getting closer to the end. I'm just adding whatever detail I can without overworking it. I'm trying to be careful not to overwork it, because I could find myself doing that, just wanting to keep adding detail, or just that feeling of that it's not finished. I'm going to try to blend that tail in more so it's more flowing and less detailed. I don't want any more strands to show. I want it to kind of flow with the background. I also worked on the bottom part underneath the hind legs, so that it looks like he's running in dust, or stomping on the dust. So I kind of splattered my brush. I don't know if you can see that. Just to add that effect. I thought that was fun. I don't usually do that, but it is darker around the back part. And